Hello again, I am back. Today I decided I was going to do the high school stereotypes book tag, and to make it a little bit more difficult for myself, I decided to choose books that I really had a connection with or was kind of obsessed with in high school. This was a little bit difficult because I just wanted to have books that I had physical copies of, and so a lot of them are at my parents' house 2,000 miles away, so I made do with what I have. So some of them I'm a little bit rusty on remembering what happened because some of them I wasn't as attached to as the others, but we're gonna give this a go. First, Mean Girl. The Mean Girl that I chose is Mia Rinaldi from Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. This is the only book in the Vampire Academy series that I actually read. Also, I recently watched the movie. Ooh, it was not great, but I think it was probably the script was just not very good. That's why. Second, Dumb Jock. So for Dumb Jock, I chose Adam from Generation Dead by Daniel Waters, and I was obsessed with this series when I was a kid. But basically the premise of this book series is that teenagers across the United States who have died have started coming back to life. They are being integrated back into society, back into high school, back into their family lives, and it kind of reminds me of the British series In the Flesh, I think that's what it's called. It's a really great series. It was cancelled after 2 seasons, which is stupid. But if you like that, you might like this. I think I would still really like it if I read it again. Adam is my Dumb Jock choice because he's a jock. He's not necessarily dumb, but he is sort of the best friend of the main character Phoebe, who is a rebel, and they are extreme opposites, but it works and I love them both, and I loved the series. Next, for Bully, I chose Jamie Tate from Lucas by Kevin Brooks. This book messed me up pretty bad and gave me what I like to call a book hangover, which is what happens when I read a book that really just destroys me, and then I can't read anything for a week or weeks or months. Mockingjay did the same thing, so did the movie. And then Forest of Hands and Teeth, just books that really are dark and put me in a dark place. And I don't remember a whole lot of this other than just pain and sadness. So that's not the whole book, but I remember that it really hurt me. Great book, really powerful. It's about a young gypsy boy who, moves to this island and is just bullied. And there's a bit of a love story in there, I believe. I don't know, it's been a long time since I read this. Next, we have Bad Boy. And for that, there were numerous books that I could have chosen, especially considering my vampire phase in high school. But I chose Zane Cobriana from Amelia Atwater Rhodes' Hawk Song. And I don't remember a whole lot about this book other than I was obsessed with this author when I was young because she wrote a book when she was 14. But the premise of these books is that there is an avian shapeshifter clan or kingdom or clan or one of the two, and then there's a cobra clan, and Danica Charday is from the avian shapeshifters. They're more of the light side, and then Zane Cobriana is from sort of the dark side, and they have to get together in order to unite the kingdoms or something. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, it's been a long time. I think this book was written in 2003, which is probably around the time that I read it. So actually maybe I read this in middle school, I'm not sure. But I definitely finished the series while I was in high school. But yeah, I liked it a lot. And you can tell he's a bad boy because, look at his scary face and his red eyes. Obviously he's supposed to be a little bit evil. Next, we have The Girl with a Bad Reputation. And for this, I kind of chose an interesting book, How I Live Now by Meg Rossoff. Don't know if I just said her name wrong. This isn't the copy that I read. I read a copy in the library. It had a different cover. This is the new cover to go with the movie. This book is freaking fantastic. It's like a World War III. Daisy's from New York. She is kind of a brat. She's dealing with a lot of issues. She ends up going to live in the English countryside with her cousins because her parents, I think both of her parents, I'm not sure, they can't handle her. And then like this World War III breaks out and she has to figure out how to survive. And she's got all these little cousins to take care of, and there's a love story, and it's heartbreaking, but it is such a good book about, you know, finding home and then trying to find it again, trying to get back to it. And then I have Nerd. So for Nerd, of course, I could not pick anybody but Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. How could I not choose her? She is like the love of my life. I think she's fantastic. I think the book should have been called Hermione Granger because without her, Harry would have been screwed. But no, I love Harry. These books, oh my god, I don't even know when I started reading these, but I know that I grew up with the characters because as I was growing up, the books were coming out. I have never been so in love with a piece of literature before. It was a way for my family and I to connect because my family loves it. We would listen to the books on tape. During vacations, I've read this book so many times. It's so beat up. They carry a very, very special place in my heart. I don't know what I would do without Harry Potter, to be honest, because it was such an important part of my childhood, a way for me to connect to my friends, a way to connect to people overseas. I don't know. Harry Potter. I'm a Ravenclaw. Next we have, Wannabe, and for that I chose Bella Swan from Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. We've all seen this, we've all heard of it. I'm not afraid to say that Twilight was a huge part of my life in high school. Again, it was a way for me to connect to people. Most of my friends weren't really big into reading, but then when I introduced them to Twilight, like, oh my gosh, it got so many people into reading. It got so many people excited about literature. I know that there are issues with it, and, you know, pieces of it are not okay, and the relationship is kind of scary. But, I mean, all in all, my memories from reading it are pretty great, and I'm able to look at it and understand that it's an unhealthy relationship. It's pretty creepy sometimes, but again, a way for me and my mom to connect. We both love it. My little sister loves it, or loved it. I don't know if she still does, but yeah, it held a pretty special place in my heart. I didn't explain why Bella's Wannabe. She wants to be a Cullen. She wants to be a vampire. And lastly, I have this stoner or slacker character, and I would call this character more of a slacker, and that is Holden Caulfield in The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. And oh my gosh, I can't even see. Oh my gosh. I read this as a freshman in high school. Catcher in the Rye gets a lot of hate, in my opinion. It's one of those books that I feel like you have to read when you're young, because if you read it for the first time as an adult, it does not have the same emotional response. I felt like I could connect with Holden. I felt like I was feeling a lot of the same things that he was, dealing with like anxiety and depression, even though I didn't really understand that that's what was happening to me. I think that is very clearly displayed in Holden, and I think that's why I had such a strong connection to him. I love him. I feel for him. I think he's so interesting, and I love the way he talks. I love his voice. It's so strong and it's great, and it's one of those books that I am just going to love for my whole entire life. So anyway, that was a super long video, I feel like. So sorry about that, but it was really interesting looking back on books that I was excited about as a teenager. I will see you soon, and let me know what your favorite books were in high school, and just comment down below. And I was not tagged by anybody, but I am gonna go ahead and tag whoever watches this, whoever wants to participate in this. So thanks, and I will see you later. Bye.